Hello, everyone. My name is Frank Jernigan, and this is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. You can generate a pattern for a Phrancko sweater at phrancko.com, and you should pay attention to the spelling, which is beneath my image on the screen. Um, so with that, why don't we just introduce everybody or greet everybody. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Nice to see you back. We missed you last week.
I had other engagements that I had forgotten about.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Sung.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
Hi, Rendell.
Hi, everyone.
Nice to see you back also.
Nice to be back.
Hi, Nick.
Where's Nick?
Nick, can you hear me? Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's being slow, but hello, everyone.
Oh, hi. Welcome back, Nick. Jenny.
Thank you.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
Hi, Will.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, everyone.
Nice to see you all again. And I want to start by saying what a wonderful time I had this week presenting to the Chicago Guild, the Phrancko Sweater, thanks to Sung, who went to the guild, her guild, and said I wanted to do that, and they invited me, and it was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed it very much.
It was a great presentation. I mean, all the technical, I think the ladies appreciated that. Yeah, it was wonderful. I never heard of, you don't pick it up in the meeting, but that presentation is excellent. Excellent.
Oh, good. Um, yeah, let me just say to any of you who are in guilds or anyone who sees this video who's in a guild, I do make myself available to do online Zoom events if somebody wants to invite me, and I'm happy to do that.
Oh, wow.
I just simply talk about the Phrancko sweater, what it is, what's unique about it. I give some diagrams that show how it's constructed, and I show examples that I have published myself and examples that many other people have knitted and what they've done with it. And then I show how to work the website and how to get the exact size that you want for your sweater pattern. And Nick, I enjoyed responding to your question this week. I hope that it helped you
Yeah,
get started.
it did. I've got my gauge swatch. I've done a gauge swatch here,
Uh-huh.
and I'm all set to go, I think.
Well, good. And you contacted me because the pattern didn't tell you how many skeins to use, and your gauge was just right outside the limitations that it handles. But now you say that you had calculated the gauge incorrectly. Is that right?
We'll
Oh,
never know.
I think he had a loose connection or something.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so he wrote and said that he did, in fact, have the incorrect gauge. And I have learned when people write me and say, it's not telling me how many skeins to buy, I say, check your gauge. And 90% of the time, they have entered something wrong. Actually, I'll go check it for them. And if I can see that it's really outside the bounds of what's normal, then I will tell them that. But his was so close, I thought, well, it might be right. If he changed a 20.5 in 4 inches to 20 in 4 inches, it would have told him the right number of skeins. So he wasn't off by far. Anyway, so if you ever get a pattern and it says, I can't calculate the number of skeins, check your gauge. Make sure you entered it correctly.
Could you explain why it would not calculate the yardage do between a 10.
Sure. The program has to assume a certain common ratio of row height to what's the word? Stitch height to stitch width, basically. If you divide in this case, you could divide it either way, but the program happens to divide the row gauge by the stitch gauge. And if that ratio is less than 1.2, the program says, oh, you're using a stitch or you're doing something that is not normal. And so I can't just guess what your yardage is. The program has to approximate what the yardage is based on uh, your your row gauge. I mean, sorry, it's based on your stitch gauge, but it doesn't matter. It uses that gauge to determine how many inches, yeah, how many inches per square inch, how many inches of yarn create 1 square inch of fabric. It calculates the total number of square inches, which is also reported to you, and and then does a calculation and says, oh, if it's that many square inches, and I've estimated your yardage to be this many inches per square inch, then I can calculate from that how many yards of yarn you need, and then look at what you entered for your skein length and see how many skeins you need to match to have at least that number of yards. So the program does all that for you, but if your row and stitch gauge are not normal proportional, then it can't guess. So it just says, I don't know how many skeins you need.
What I'd actually done was I transposed the digits of my row gauge. So I was putting in 42 rows, I think, instead of 24. And I
Oh,
think that just completely made it go haywire, which is understandable.
oh. Hmm. Well, I'm glad you worked it out.
Yeah, well, that was after your help, but thank you. Yeah.
So what yarn are you using for yours?
I've bought a hand dyed yarn from somewhere called River Knits, which is a fairly local independent dyer from near where I've got a narrowboat. And it's a really nice, semi-solid sort of burgundy color, I suppose. And it's made out of blue-faced Leicester.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
Love
That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm casting on tomorrow.
Way.
Yeah.
Or staying up late tonight, depending, yeah.
I'm not staying. I'm not, no.
It's already late enough, right, Nick?
That's right. Yeah, it's 10:30 at the moment, and it's late enough.
Okay.
So Ron's winding, I guess.
I guess so too. I'm rescanning all of our hand dyes.
Oh,
So I've got a lot of yarn that has just come out of the kettles, and now they're being wound from one thingy to another to get them all nice and even and get the colors all mixed up nicely and get them ready for the customers.
uh-huh.
Okay, Frank, I got a question.
Sure. What's up?
I've done this, well, I'm doing the sleeve, but I put it on and I'm finding it a bit too wide.
Uh-oh.
So
How wide? Did you check your schematic? How wide is it supposed to be?
I'm gonna have to do that, but I know it's already longer than 16 inches. So somewhere along the way, I made something wrong.
Um, have you counted the stitches? Do you have the number of stitches?
Yeah,
in the
it
needles
started
for-
at 91, and then when I went down to 69, but when I went
Wait,
down to
no, what do
60,
you mean started at 91? That
when I picked up the stitches from the sleeve cap.
okay, that's the important measure. 91
Right.
stitches.
It was 91.
And
And then
what's your,
I had to decrease every 5 rows.
and what is your, no, don't go on. What is
Okay.
your row gauge? What is your stitch gauge?
It's what is it? 7, it was 6 inches per inch, 5 inches per inch, something like that.
Wait, no, look on your look on your pattern. What did you say your
Let me
gauge?
go look. Here we go. Okay. It's 20 stitches per inch and 28 rows.
All right. 20 stitches divided by 4. That is 5 stitches per inch.
Hmm.
And you said there were 91 stitches
Right,
divided by 5.
right.
You've got an 18-inch sleeve,
Yeah.
18-inch circumference.
Yeah,
That's
something's
big.
yeah, something's wrong.
Well,
I-
but
I-
the schematic says 18 inches. Did you check the schematic?
Let's see. The schematic doesn't say it. It says, where'd you go? Here a minute. Okay. It says 16 inches long
Long.
and 18
Something-
inches wide. Yeah, 18 inches wide. Correct.
Oh, 18 inches circumference.
Right. Yes.
Well, that's what you got,
All right.
but you didn't want 18 inches.
No, I think I have to decrease it down faster. Or
No,
No.
you may need to start all over.
Yeah, right. That's why I stopped. So,
Because somehow you've got the wrong number of stitches that you picked up.
okay.
If you check your pattern, it'll tell you how many stitches there's supposed to be after you pick them up. And
Right. All right.
it's not going to be 91 if your circumference is 16.
Right. Okay.
So
I will.
it's very important to check the number of stitches that the pattern says every time.
All right.
All right.
I can do that. So
But the body
Well-
fits okay?
yeah, it's not too bad. It's a little bit too wide, but I'm getting whatever. I'll fill it in.
Did you select an ease you didn't intend to?
I said 4. I think next time I make the sweater, I'm going to do 2.
Tell
I
you
think
what, can you tell me, look on the final page of your pattern at
All
the
right.
very bottom and tell me the sweater number. It's the last thing on the final page.
Okay.
Molly, have you rechecked your gauge that you've been knitting to be sure that you really are on?
Probably not.
Sometimes I
Yeah,
find
yeah,
that
I
I'm
know.
not.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we at? We're at the end, right?
Yeah, do you
Last
see
page.
sweater number?
The sweater number.
It's the very final line on the pattern.
Oh, 3209.
3209. Now I can see your pattern.
All right.
And it says your sleeve is 18 inches.
Oh, all right. Right.
The circumference is 18 inches. That's what you
Mhm.
got. But 18 inches isn't what you wanted.
No.
So you should have corrected it before you bought the
All
pattern.
right.
But I can correct it for you.
Okay.
But that means you have to start the entire sweater all over.
The whole sweater.
The whole sweater. Everything
All
would be
right.
different if I change that.
All right. I got nothing better to do.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
why that hurts?
That's why I'm retired.
mine are usually 16 inches. What do you like have you measured a sweater that you like the circumference of?
I probably have. I just don't remember where I wrote it down.
I tell you what, why don't you measure a sweater, and before the meeting's over, you can tell me what it is and I'll fix the pattern for you.
Okay.
All right.
I will do that.
Either that, or you could leave it. You could leave it till after Thanksgiving and after Christmas, and it's going to fit.
Absolutely, yes. And during the summer. I get the feeling I'm knitting too loose.
No, it's the wrong number of stitches. You can't
Okay.
get that up by tightening up.
All right.
The lesson here is check every measurement on the schematic before you purchase it and make sure
Okay.
18 inches is a very large sleeve.
Right.
Um, depending on what, let's see, let me go back to the pattern. Oh yeah, you just chose a standard fit.
Mm-hmm.
So you must have entered 16 inches as your arm circumference,
Mm.
which is unlikely unless you're really quite muscular. How muscular are you?
I'm not.
Oh,
The only muscle I have is my belly.
well, measure your arm again,
Okay.
or just a sweater that you like to wear. A sweater
All
that you
right.
like to wear. Measure the circumference of the sleeve. Just
Oh,
measure across it and
I
down.
will do that.
All right.
So,
I just checked the sweater I'm working on. Its sleeve is 20 inches.
oh wow. Well, you got big muscles.
Hardly. I'm just big generally. I mean, relative to my size, no. Relative to other humans, yes, probably.
Made you muscular. That's what's going on here, right? Everybody who's knitting is getting muscles in their arms.
That's right.
Okay, good.
Can I show you what I'm using to save my muscles on my one of my new favorite tools?
Mm.
So as you see, I'm rescanning yarn, and I've got this little. Come over here, you guys. You guys, stop wiggling around. Okay.
Oh, look at this. Wow.
Ah, gosh, Shmulia, would you get over here? All right. See this thing right here?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is my automatic skein twister.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Like this, with a big hank of yarn. Zhuzh that around, make sure it's on there properly. Oh, and it's not. Okay, make sure that's on there properly. Zhuzh, zhuzh, zhuzh. I pull that way out here. I've got a presser foot.
Oh, look at that.
Pull that in half. Pull that off of there, and then boink.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's neat.
Saves my wrist and my shoulder. So there's that. That's my skein twister.
That's cool.
By Alpenglow Yarn, in case you do a lot of reskeining. That's who that's by. Alpenglow Yarn. One of my favorite tools to use.
Wow.
Otherwise, you're doing this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And is there a set number of twists for a skein?
It depends on what you like. So it's adjustable. There's a dial that lets you set different how long you want it to twist, or you can set it to only twist while you're pressing the foot down. And I experiment. It depends on the yarn. Like with these, I wanted them with enough twists in them to be tidy looking, but not so much that you lose the soft feel of the yarn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is it's kind of a balancing act. And we probably skeined a skein 3 or 4 times where we said, this is it, set it to number 3.
Right.
And because you don't want it like a limp kitten, like where it goes meow, blee, but not so tight that it makes the yarn feel rougher than it is.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very tight.
A very cool gadget.
Yeah. Saves my shoulder. I've been in physical therapy for a locked shoulder. Oh, that's the other thing I discovered. A knitted hat with an ice pack in it fits the shoulder perfectly.
Wonderful.
If you ever
Good
need to ice
idea.
your rotator cuff,
Use it. Use
the
it.
ice pack fits perfectly in a knitted hat, a knitted beanie, and fits the rotator cuff perfectly. So those are my contributions today.
Speaking of your knitted beanies, did you finish that one? I think it was like an alligator or something. Amy, 'cause I was interested in that pattern.
I haven't finished writing the pattern. This is that.
Cool.
Stop refocusing on me. I can't go. There's that. This is so there's two different crowns. This is the same pattern knit with a hand spun. Two different crowns that I'm still kind of ruminating on. A square crown and then a more traditional spiral crown. And I haven't decided which one I like yet. I may put in two options, but it's sort of a simple broken stockinette. Every fourth row is a knit one, purl one. The rest of it is on a bed of stockinette.
Right.
Oh, I like that. That's cute.
Yeah.
I like the pebbly one.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah,
It's just wonderful. I love all the little color bits.
it was fun. It was fun to spin. I had a bag of Rambouillet in the back that it was kind of perfect for. It was fun to feel. Well, while I'm here, I can show you another important Phrancko update I have to report on. It's not about a Phrancko sweater, but it's about something we talk about fairly often, which is men's sweaters with eyelets in them.
Oh,
yeah,
Like
we
that,
were doing
as
that.
a concept, it comes up from time to time.
Yeah.
I was watching a show and saw one of the characters wearing this.
Oh wow.
Oh, that looks nice.
That's
I like
nice.
that.
yeah. Very nice.
And I took some screenshots of and come on, Ronnie, a close up of the stitch pattern.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
Cool.
quite interesting.
So
Wow.
I spent some time, like clearly that's machine knitted. I'm down here in my bag. And so I've spent some time working out. Get out of there, you swatch. That's it. I'm cutting you. Oh, now you'll cooperate. How that stitch pattern works.
Cool.
Oh wow.
For the very large eyelets. And so clearly it's machine knitted to make and so I did some research on large machine knit eyelets, and I found a tutorial. Oh gosh, I've forgotten which website it was on, for something called a 4-needle transfer that creates very large eyelets like this. And I watched the video a few times just to figure out structurally what was happening when the person in the YouTube video was making the 4-needle transfer, to figure out how you would hand knit it. So that is my swatch with a hand knit 4-needle transfer, just because I didn't want to go to sleep on the day that this is it. This is the swatch. These are actually the eyelets are slow. That's the back. That's it in a cotton. And there, I've done a few different things with the order the increase or the decreases happen in, how they're picked up, how large the running thread that is yarn overs that you'd pick up is. So that's been my experiment for the week. I saw a video with a men's sweater chock full of eyelets, and then I spent time trying to figure out how to recreate the pattern in hand knitting.
How many rows is the repeat?
6.
6. Oh, that's not too bad.
And 6 rows, 10 stitches wide.
I think the reason that works is it's not lacy, it's holey. And so for a guy, it's more, I don't want to use the word manly, but holes seem to be more manly than lace.
Eyelets, right. Yeah, and they're arranged orthogonally. They're not in a design. It's very geometric and graphic.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a topic that comes up occasionally. Like, what about eyelets in a men's thing? So I saw that in the wild, and I thought I have to do some work on this so I could make a full report at Phrancko.
Thank you, Ron.
Could you,
I
Ron,
also
you
saw.
describe?
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you describe the four needle transfer. Like what sort of is happening with the stitches? Would it be too tough to describe without like
No.
a?
So it turns out what a four needle transfer is on a knitting machine, starting with 6. My fingers are there, and moving 2 of the stitches over so that they become. So it's basically 2 double decreases in opposite directions.
Okay.
I experimented on, I couldn't tell from zooming in whether those would be the equivalent of SSKs or in which one was which. So I experimented a few times. So the way it works on one row, it's a directional double decrease this way, a directional double decrease this way with a double yarn over in the middle.
Okay.
On the next row, it's a knit yarn over knit or a purl yarn over purl, depending on whether you're on the right or the wrong side. I swatched it a few different ways. And then on the next row, you knit all of those stitches and pick up 1 extra stitch 2 rows below in the large double yarn over from 2 rows ago.
Okay.
Creating a large, open, structured hole over the course of 3 rows of knitting.
Cool.
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
That's cool. It is really neat.
So in the four needle
like
transfer, it's 3 rows of machine knitting. You make the transfer, do 2 more rows of knitting, and then you pull a needle back up to catch the 4th stitch. So I said, okay, this happens over three rows. So I worked from there. That's the mechanics of it in a nutshell.
Cool. Thanks.
Very neat.
And the reason it comes up from time to time is because I keep wondering, how can I fit a lace pattern into a man's sweater? And I mention that every now and then. And so I think that got you thinking about it. I also saw one this week, and I can't remember where I saw it, that had large holes in it like that. And what are you doing, Ron?
Am I still spotlighted for a reason?
Oh, yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure we weren't transitioning. I'm happy for you to talk to me. I was worried that you left me on.
Let me talk to all of you.
Okay. I will stop making a spectacle of myself and get back to work.
The thing that I noticed, that I also noticed in the pictures you took of the person who was wearing that sweater, is you see the fabric underneath through the holes. And so it would matter what color undershirt you're wearing, and it could be part of your fashion,
ensemble,
your ensemble,
your style.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask Ron, you are in California, right?
And how?
What is the most prevalent yarn that you sell there? What's the market for yarn? Because you'd think it's not a cold weather climate where people would want to get a lot of woolly wool.
You said exactly the thought that got us a lot of bad advice in our first couple years of being open.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is true. We do not sell a lot of fingering weight yarn, hardly any compared to other. It is our 3rd most selling category. The highest selling category is actually worsted weight wools and wool blends.
Wow.
And based on individual yarns. Then the second thing we sell the most of is DK weight as a whole. DK weight and DK weight blends. So both plant-based and animal-based DKs. We do a lot of DKs. And then sock weight yarns, fingering weight yarns are a distant 3rd. After that come our sport weights, chunkies, and super bulkies, which kind of trade places to bring up the rear. So I just had Calliope Famelos in the store, who is the owner and dyer of Anzula and Mod Yarns, a brand you might know. She's from up in Fresno. And her For Better or Worsted which is a merino cashmere nylon blend, is, since the day we opened our shop, the top selling yarn.
Lovely.
Wow.
It is
So
just lovely.
not what you'd think. So I had to sit on a lot of inventory of figuring weight yarn no one wanted.
I would have guessed it'd be worsted.
Hmm?
Never guessed it. And wool. Worsted.
Yeah, wool and wool blends.
Well, that's super interesting. Could you tell me again, what was the mod yarn?
Oh, Calliope Famelos owns two brands, Anzula Luxury Fibers, Anzula. I don't know if someone can chat that for me. My hands are full of tea and this. And she has a sister yarn company for more sort of wild textured yarns, more interesting colorway, not interesting, but more vibrant sort of style yarns called Mod Yarns.
Okay.
They are sister companies.
Okay.
And highly recommend. My customers love them. She's just up the valley from us in Fresno, so the yarn community here has been with her the entire time of her business being existing, and she is well loved here. Her products are well liked, and I ship more of that yarn than anything all over the country. People love it.
I think some of it's going to come to Oklahoma.
I'm happy to send it your way. I just placed a new order with her. But yeah, Anzula, for better or worsted, is our #1 selling yarn since the day we opened our doors.
Ooh, I'm excited to see it.
And for anyone seeing this video, that's the twistedskein.com.
Yes. Bakersfield, California.
Well, I went into our local yarn store, which is going to be closing in June or July. Because
Did you hear it?
the rent went up on their lease and they decided not to continue on. In fact, what I bought was can you read that? It's called Lore, and it's from the Fiber Company, and it says 100% Kent lamb's wool. I have no idea what that is, but it was really rustic, so I liked it. You can see that. But Ron, you would have any idea.
It's from the Fiber Company?
Huh?
It's from the Fiber Company?
Yes.
I'm familiar with them as a company, but not terribly familiar with their yarns these days.
Okay, so we don't know what Kent lamb's wool is.
Lamb's wool from Kent?
I guess so. West Yorkshire. No, that's the mill. Romney sheep breed. So if it's Romney, what type of characteristics would it have?
Oh, here we go.
I'm wondering how soft it's going to get when I wash and block it.
Romney is a fairly sturdy wool, isn't it? This might be a question that Cindy has a good answer for. Are you familiar with Romney as a breed?
Romney is a nice, but it is a little more. I would call it hard wearing.
Yeah, it's a hard wearing. It's a long wool, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit longer. I am just right now looking up Lore at their thing, and it is a lamb's wool, so it is a little bit right. It would be a little bit softer and finer than just a regular Romney sheep wool. So the lamb's wool is of course from the younger animals, and do that. I'm not finding any micron or any count to help with that.
I'm just looking in the Fleece and Fiber source book. So
really lovely. And it's good for color work. A lot of times the yarns that they say are good for color work are more rustic and grabby.
Yeah.
And for for that reason, so that when you do the color work, they do kind of lock in and hold.
They grip to one another. That is very true.
Yeah.
Color work looks beautiful in a traditional rustic wool when the scales of it kind of fold together and the neighboring stitches hold on to one another, and it becomes one contiguous fabric. So that's the thing to keep in mind when you knit with it. Things like open work, lace, eyelets, you may just want to avoid because they will close up over time. But textured stitches may do you well as they cling together and work well, but eyelets will probably close up. Nick, did you say you were looking it up?
Yeah, I'm just going through. I can read you loads about it, but that's not what you want. 4 to 8 inches staple length.
That's a long wool.
Dyeing foam.
That is a very long wool.
Sweaters, mittens, caps, shawls, chair cushions, rugs, finer fleeces for clothing and coarser ones for upholstery. So it's fairly robust.
So I was planning on knitting a cabled vest in that. So I can do that and do yard work and I'll be just fine, right? Because
it's quite coarse. It's quite coarse though. Is it going to be okay against your skin?
Well, the vest would be, I would be wearing that over a t-shirt, like a long sleeve.
All right, okay.
So you may want to abuse your swatch a little bit before you get your final gauge counting. Slap it against the table a few times, rub it in your hands while it's wet. Because if you plan on using it while you're working, while you're doing chores, while it might be in the damp, adjusting for it, the fabric fulling up. Fulling being what wool does before it felts. The fibers start to grip one another, it starts to close up. So somewhere between plain knitted fabric and felt, your wool will full, F-U-L-L. So abusing your swatch a little bit in the way, they say to wash your swatch the way you intend to wash your sweater. For something like this, it may pay dividends to rough your swatch up a little bit.
And it's a loosely spun 2-ply. Will that still be okay for cables? I didn't think about that before I think so, since it's wool and spun.
Swatch.
Yeah, and the other thing with a swatch is, it's like pin it inside your shirt and wear it for a little bit and see how it is. It's like, is it too scratchy that you're going to have a turtleneck, or is it going to be okay? And with the lamb's wool, it is going to be softer than the more adult sheep, even from the same breed.
I find that sometimes lamb's wool feels almost cottony to me, or like a cotton blend
it does.
to
It's
me.
got a little bit more of a, I don't know, poof is the word that comes to mind. That's not correct, but it is. It's lighter that way.
Is it a stupid question to ask whether the staple length of a lamb's wool is going to be shorter than the staple length of a normal adult sheep's wool because it's grown longer?
It usually is, and it's not even just that it is grown a little bit longer on an adult sheep, but sometimes it would be even close to the same length of time between shearings. But you see it even on and I have spun dog wool. Anyway, you see it on dogs. It's like, the puppies and the really young animals have just a different hair.
Well, babies have different hair as well.
It's finer.
That's why Cruella de Vil wanted Dalmatian puppies.
That's right. That's right.
Clever woman.
Yeah.
Places your mind goes, Ron. It's just.
Look, the reason I say so many absurd things is otherwise they will get stuck in my brain and I will live with them. And I'll be trying to get to sleep and it'll be 1 a.m. and my brain will be going, remember those puppies Cruella de Vil wanted?
Why didn't I say that so I could get it out of my brain?
Why didn't I say that?
Look, if you think it's weird, imagine it constantly.
Who has something they want to show us? The hour is moving on.
Well, I just finished a pair of socks.
All right, well.
And I started these quite some time ago, and I've just been weaving the ends in. So they're not blocked. Keep that in mind. But here we go.
Oh,
Look at
I
that.
like
Very
Oh,
the
nice.
design.
nice.
Yeah, so it's got a colorwork pattern.
Like a
Mm.
trapezoid.
Needs some blocking, you can tell.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my fish lips kiss heel that I always do.
Oh, and you even said it right. Yay, Will.
Yeah.
I couldn't say it, and it's like I can feel it in my mouth, and it does not come out right.
And here's my star toe,
Oh, wow.
my catboardy star toe that I always do.
Mm.
That's a nice one that fits really well, doesn't
It
it?
does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, so I've got to block these, but then they'll be ready to wear in a couple of days, I think. Yeah.
Yay.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who's going to wear these socks?
Who's going to wear them? These are for me. So I will wear these.
Yay, good
Yes.
for you.
Yeah.
Stick your foot up and show it to us.
Yeah.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi,
Tim's
Tim.
lurking around. I think he's suffering from the weather suddenly changed trauma.
It's starting to get hot.
It's hot.
Yep.
Oh, we're supposed to get up to 70 next week, maybe.
We
It
had
only
snow
rained
this
for
morning.
part of a day. Oh, snow. Oh my goodness, Debbie.
Yeah, it was. I woke up to snow.
Oh, wow.
Sumner moving this week?
I thought it was moving last weekend.
So I guess all of you have snow over there.
We haven't seen
I
Sumner
started the
for a
new.
couple of weeks, so
Yeah, a couple of weeks
Yeah.
it has been. Yeah.
I
probably
started a
all.
new sweater this week.
Oh, no, stop.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
I started a Phrancko for my sister. I'm making it a cardigan for her.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
Is
oh, I
it
love the
And
color.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
which
Oh, how
neckline are you
nice.
using for that, Debbie?
Well, I pulled the Henley and I'm just making it a cardigan.
Okay,
Clever.
great, good.
Yeah. And this is Plymouth Yard Sea Isle. It's a cotton merino wool blend. Feels really nice.
Nice.
are you more of a gift knitter?
Yes. I don't have anything that I've ever knit for myself.
Oh.
Oh.
Is this the same sister or different sister?
This is the same sister. I made gloves for the other sister and I made a sweater for another sister a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh.
So this one hasn't received, well, I'm blocking that first one and then making her a second one.
Very nice.
I'm still working on level 3, but I'm happy to report that I have finished 18 of the 19
Wow.
swatches.
Wow.
Nice.
However, the
Yay,
problem was I think I left the hardest one for last. And I've done it 4 times and I've cast on for the 5th time. We'll see if I can make it this time. This is the traveling stitches, the Bavarian or Austrian.
What?
And so
That's not hard.
it's just I can do it one way, I can't do it on the back side. I just get totally discombobulated which way to do stuff. So I have to like go very slow. I'm very directionally challenged, Frank.
That's true. You when you're ready to make the turn, you look at the other side. Which way should it go?
Okay.
Or over the top. That's what I do.
I'll try to do that, but it's like, okay, but I'm doing, but the
But
doily
it
went
does slow
really
you
pretty
down a lot.
easy. It does, yes. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I only have to make it about a little over 4 inches. So I'm not gonna. I am not gonna do a really big one. It has to be between 4x4 and 7x7. So it's gonna be 4x4. But I'm
Yeah.
excited, and I finished the one of my charted symbols and was really happy with that one. And the doily wasn't hard. I thought the doily was going to be hard. It was just getting that beginning pinhole cast on flat and working, but then doing it. And I could even crochet. Tell Tim I could crochet.
Oh,
I
I only
will.
had to do a chain stitch and a single crochet, but I did it.
Hooray.
Well,
Cindy,
so that's where I am.
do you have the swatches nearby? I would love to
No,
see
they're
it.
on the kitchen table. They're
Okay.
blocking.
Okay.
Well, what is your next step after you finish?
The next thing that they suggest, and they give a suggested order for you to work, and of course you can do it however you want, but the third level I decided I would follow the directions, you know. So anyway, so I've done I will have finished the swatches, and why I do the swatches, I do the swatch information sheets or the patterns. So all those are done and edited and checked and good. That's finished. And I finished all the questions. And those are related to the swatches too. So that's all done. So my next thing will be writing my reports and my book reviews. And I've done research for that and quite a bit of reading, and I've got notes, but now I have to actually just write it. And that's something I really like. I like to write, so that's not a hard thing.
Cool. And what are the reports on?
There's 3 reports, and one is a fiber report, and you have to include kind of animal, vegetable, mineral. No, I have to include animals and plants and synthetic. A synthetic one, and you have to choose 6, but have at least one of each of those categories. And then I have to do a report on the Fair Isle and a report on Aaron, because one of those, it has to be each of my projects, the hat and the sweater, and I get to choose which one I want for which, but there's that. And then I have to write the book reviews, and there is book reviews. I think it's only 3 book reviews, but the book reviews have to be for, again, Fair Isle, a Fair Isle book and a Aaron book. And then the other one is to choose a book having to do with one of the swatches that I did. That was something that I learned new and everything. So I might do the Bavarian Austrian traveling stitch book because I've read that one the most times. So we'll see.
Well, I just have to say that that's actually my favorite style of knitting, and
Are you kidding?
I love it. You can do so much with it. I've done several sweaters patterns that I've published
Well,
with.
now in the
traveling
round,
stitches.
it wouldn't be as bad. It
That's
really would
right.
not be as bad in the
Exactly.
round.
It's not bad at
But
all in the round.
doing this little flat swatch that you have to do where you have to, it's like, okay, I was leaning to the right on the front, so which 2 stitches do I work on the back? And then you have to, they say, you know, twisted stitch knitting like this is, your knits are always twisted where they are on the front, but you're working on a background of reverse stockinette. So on the back, you have knits instead of pearls, but those are not twisted. So it's just, it's crazy.
I took a very good workshop on twisted traveling stitches from Anna Zilberg one year.
Oh.
And I don't know if she has any written materials about it, but in her workshop, she particularly has you work the swatches flat. Because if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere if you're knitting the swatches flat. She has some very helpful insights about it that I wish I could articulate, but it was such a lovely class. One of the things I remember a workshop I've taken, I was like, that was very helpful and useful, and I will think back on that a lot.
Well, if you think of anything else that's helpful, drop me a line.
Don't panic.
Well, I'm not. And the first one that I did, I jammed everything up too much and it just looked like a blob. Yeah. And so I needed to have just a teeny bit more of space between the different motifs so that you could see what was going on. So I did that, and I'm pleased with the design now. So I think it'll work. If I can just knit the back side, I'll be fine.
Very impressive.
it's great. I'm so thrilled that you're finishing level 3. That's wonderful.
Mm.
And so have you
I'm
done the
working.
hat? The hat and the
No, they suggest that you do the hat and the sweater last. I've gathered ideas for some of the designs that I want to do and the colors and that sort of stuff, but
Hey,
I
why am I
haven't
just
done
a
it.
shawl?
I don't know. Why are you just a shawl?
I don't know. Sorry.
It's a lovely shawl. I like the color
Yeah,
combination.
nice colors.
Do you ever wish you could just put yourself in blocking water and go, and be back to normal?
I kind of soaked in the hot tub the other day. It was somewhat like that.
I always feel as though I'm lace that's just come off the needles, all scrungled up.
Randall, did you finish your sweater last week? Is that what we heard?
I did not.
Well, show me.
Oh,
Look how much.
Yes,
He's
boy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. The
Oh,
colors,
that.
all
We were
the
getting
fills in
ready to start the
between.
sleeves, maybe. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not
very
far
good.
off. Yeah.
I will tell you what I've learned to read.
Reading is fundamental.
And starting is not that bad.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, congratulations. That's great.
she's great.
Wally, did you measure a sweater sleeve yet?
The width of it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was 10 inches.
The width is 10?
Yeah.
So 20 inch, like 1/2 of it?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
That's even bigger than what you've got. That would be
So-
20 inches circumference. Did you
So-
measure at the underarm?
Yes.
And you measured
The
across?
shoulder, the shoulder to the underarm. And it was 10.
No, it's not the shoulder. It's from the
it's from
underarm
here to
across.
here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it in the mirror.
Okay.
It's this way.
It's
this
across.
way. It's
Oh, all
to
right.
your
It's
Just
to your
right there.
muscle. Measure from
All
the
right.
underarm
Yeah.
to your muscle.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay,
Wally.
everyone make a muscle there. Show where we're supposed to measure.
I don't have a lot of progress I've made on my sweater, but I'll show you what I've got. I showed it last week and you won't even see a difference, but it does go down a little farther.
There it
I'm
is.
almost
Cool.
ready to start the ribbing down here.
Colors are
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, very
And,
nice.
Excellent.
That is
Yeah.
Love
just
the
I
color.
love the colors on that.
I do too. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah,
I
that'll be
thought
fun
I'd
to wear.
also show you this sweater I found buried in my closet. This is before there was a such thing as a Phrancko sweater. I designed and knit this set-in sleeve sweater, and I don't like the way it fits, but I was playing with short row color work, and I did the Archangel Wing shawl, and I did the Color Fun scarf, which later became patterns published in Cast On magazine. But I never published this pattern because I started doing Phrancko sweaters.
Uh-huh.
But that's
I
all
like how
cool.
those did.
Yeah.
So that's all short rows
That's
that you
all
did
short
to
rows.
get that design.
Fun.
Yes.
Oh,
like
that is
that.
cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought I might do a sweater like this or something similar in using short rows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would choose a different yarn. This yarn was too soft. And I almost never wear the sweater because if I wear it longer than an hour or two, it starts drooping longer and
Kind of
longer
droops, yeah.
and goes almost all the way down to my knees. That's the only sweater I have that does that, but it's exacerbated by the fact that all of this color work in the middle is done in garter stitch, and
Yeah.
garter stitch just keeps stretching longer and longer. So,
Yeah.
I like the collar and the cuffs though. That's a cute way too. But the
Yeah.
design is really pretty. That's across the
yeah, the
chest.
yarn
That's really
feels nice too. It's from yarn.com. What is the name of the store?
Webs.
Webs. It's from Webs. Yes. So, but it's too soft and too drapey and especially for something with garter stitch.
For sometimes when it's kind of too soft or a little drapey like that, if you knit it on a smaller needle and had just a slightly tighter gauge, would that help?
Mhm.
So it
I
wouldn't,
don't know. Anybody have experience with that?
I don't know.
We've also
That
talked
was,
about doing stitch what's the word? Slip stitches down the side for a faux seam that will help hold it up. So I didn't do that either.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, hello, Linda. Thank you for joining us.
I just remembered.
Well, good. Well, we're glad you made it in 3 minutes before we end.
I know it.
Nice
So
to see
I'll
you.
catch you on YouTube.
Okay. And come back and join us next week.
I will. Well, actually, no, we're traveling, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you eventually.
You have a show and tell?
No, I'm just making a sweater. It's not
Just a
nothing.
sweater.
Yeah.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Okay, while you're back, did you have a
13
number?
inches?
13 inches sounds, wait, is that circumference?
The circumference, right, around.
So it was 6.5 inches across.
Right.
Flat. Yes, 13 inches would be great.
Okay.
Well, maybe. Is that
no muscle? I have no muscles.
Have you measured the circumference of your arm? Let's also compare it to that.
No, I haven't.
That's
maybe I'll remeasure me and then I'll email you.
Yes, do that. Do you have my email address?
Huh? I have your address, yes.
Okay, good. Email me the circumference of your arm. Let's make sure we do it right. Get it right before you start the sweater over. And you've got the pattern printed out that you have now.
Yeah.
Save that. I will change the circumference of the arm and you can compare the two and see how far it goes that's the same before it says do something different.
Okay.
Maybe all the way from the neck all the way up at the neck. It may do a different number of rows even. So that in that case you may have to start all over.
All right. Well,
but don't rip out. Don't rip out yet until you get the numbers from Frank.
Okay.
That's right. That's how you'll determine how far back you have to rip out.
And I'll keep this and I'll give it to my friend.
Well, you can do that. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. So who else has something to show real quick? We're about to time up.
I was gonna ask Ron to actually send me his hat because I can feel a twin set coming on.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Cool. That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Oh boy.
I've knitted this twice. I got my gauge wrong the first time.
Oh wow.
And it was about 4 inches bigger than I wanted it to be. So I have another one of these because I didn't bother ripping it out. I just threw it in the corner and bought new wool because I just couldn't bear to rip it all out. And I'm now in search of someone that likes to weave in ends. Because I have.
Good luck with that. Hold it up again so we can see it clearly.
It's here we go.
Excellent.
Nice.
Hold it real still. If you hold it still, it should focus. There we go.
Oh wow! Look at that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
It's a labor of love, but I'm enjoying it. So.
Well, good.
I don't think I'll enjoy the ends. Weaving in the ends are going to be,
Send you a pattern for a matching ice pack holder.
Hear the name of the pattern?
I think it's Raga. It's Raga, I think, and you'll find it on Ravelry.
Okay.
It's I think they knit it in Spindrift, which is Jameson's of Shetland, and I'm using Jameson and Smith, which is confusing having two Jamesons on Shetland. So
and you can drink a Jameson's Irish whiskey while you're at it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's plenty of them in Scotland.
All right. Well, thank you all. Cindy, you might want to stay behind so I can tell you what I shared with the group before the meeting.
Okay, and I just put the Raga pattern in the chat.
Oh,
Oh,
excellent.
you found it, did you? Oh, good.
Thank you
Right,
very
okay.
much.
Thank you.
So we'll see you all again next week, I hope. And I
Bye.
loved visiting
Bye,
with you.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Yep.
You too.
Bye.
Oy.